Alright, how's it going, everybody? Today I am playing on one of my favorite roads here on Maui. And this road is generally fairly dangerous. And you'll see why once I get a little bit further into it. And the thing that makes it dangerous is the fact that there is very limited visibility and the fact that the road itself is super narrow. But that alone isn't that big of a deal. The really big deal is that we very often have completely clueless tourists on this road who aren't looking where they're going. And believe me when I tell you, this road gets nice and narrow. We'll see it in about 20-25 minutes or so. But now, thanks to a global pandemic, this road is nice and clear. The only people really coming up here nowadays are locals, which is good and bad. I mean, it's good because I know that I don't have all kinds of crazy tourists to deal with on my commute. It's bad because I don't have a bunch of tourists who are clearing the rocks out of the road. As we get pretty deep into this part of the island, I'm gonna start seeing landslides and stuff like that, rock slides. And normally this stuff is cleared away by tourists running it over with their rental Mustangs, but not so much. Not so much nowadays. This road is fairly technical, and I don't ride it all that fast, mainly because you really never know as you go around these blind corners that whether or not somebody's going to be in the middle of the road, or if we're going to have goats or cows or chickens or pigs. And so this is a kind of a more fairly leisurely ride for me. But it sure is a ton of fun. Now, one thing that's been happening that's kind of interesting, we have these checkpoints now on Maui. I know that there's already some class action lawsuits being arranged against our governor because it's a pretty flimsy law that they use to violate constitutional rights. I'm not going to debate about whether or not they're legal at this point. Just talk about the effect that they've had, which is that obviously cops aren't on roads like this, and so locals who don't want to be hassled, and who can blame them, are actually taking roads like this more often. And so while I'm not concerned about tourists, I am concerned about about the locals, most of whom don't really expect to see a bike. But I will say that the chances of having a problem are significantly reduced now that all those white Mustangs and Camaros and four-door Jeeps are off the road, courtesy of the fact that the state's technically closed. Yeah, see, this is a local. Total local car, an older Dodge Stratus or something. And nice that I met him in that area instead of like right here. So again, that's why I'm fairly slow about going around these corners, because they're not very wide. and you don't really know who's coming up the other side. Like this person right here. Fortunately, I'm nice and skinny, so I can go right around. A whole bunch of folks parked. That's actually a really popular hiking trail right there. But yeah, I mean, coming up to stuff like this, you don't really know what to expect. So we're about 7 days away from the end of the official stay-at-home order. We're wondering what's going to happen. Our leaders have told us that there's going to be like a slow phase-in of services, but the fact is that the big hotels really don't yet have any well-defined plan to reopen, which means that it's probably going to be a good month or so before we really start to see too much tourism here on the island again. You know what? Let's cut through this neighborhood and have some fun. Oh. And so what's new in my world? Well, did something I've never done before the other day. Actually created an online dating profile. That was entertaining. I mean, I figure I'd be dating anyways, and I'd be dating in person. But seeing as how I can't date in person, I meet ladies on the internet. And who knows? Maybe something fun will happen. I can already tell you that the online dating experience is a surreal one. I cannot even explain how many ladies are on the internet with like a picture of a sunset, because I want to date a sunset. You know, like people have like memes as their online dating profile picture, or they'll have what is just so obviously a scam profile. It's just, they'll just have 15-20 pictures of what is obviously like a photo shoot with some model wearing the same bathing suit in every single picture. And then absolutely no information in the biography, not even a single sentence. That's the one type of completely clueless online dater that I have encountered. Now we're good. Back out to the main road. Another type that amuses the crap out of me is women who, on their online profile, alright, see, that guy's having fun. On their online profile, say something to the effect of, "I hate men, change my mind." And I'm like, I don't have the energy to do that shit. The hell would I want to change your mind for? You hate men. Why wouldn't I want to just hang around with a girl who doesn't hate men? Silly person, maybe you should be a lesbian. Maybe ladies are more your speed. I ain't judging. I'm just saying that if you're searching for men on the internet, you shouldn't open your profile with, "I hate men, change my mind," because it shows a distinct lack of understanding about your target audience. Yeah. Another thing that amuses me are other profiles I found that are freaking hilarious. Ladies who have 10,000 things that a man must be in order to contact them. And I'm like, I'm all about having standards. I have very high standards myself for who I want to hang out with, but I like to find out about those high standards organically. I don't just like to put that up front and be like, I am picky as hell and you're probably not good enough, because that's not how you start any kind of a relationship. And let's face it, nobody's perfect, and relationships are all about two imperfect people figuring out how to get along and do life together. Certainly, my ex-wife wasn't perfect, and I wasn't perfect either, and yet for 5 years we got along just fine as we figured out how to rub our imperfections off against each other, and both became better people in the process. Oh yeah, this one's tight. Next one's even tighter. So yeah, whenever I see online dating profiles where these ladies have like a list of demands, I'm just like, next. Plenty o' fish in the sea, and there's a lot of people in the world who will just accept me for who I am. Something very interesting, I'm reading a book called 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson, and one of the things that he talks about is online dating, or speed dating, I think is the way that he frames his argument. Actually, I am not right. It's not 12 Rules for Life. I'm reading another book called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, and this is where these anecdotes are found. But essentially, he has this plethora of scientific evidence that shows that people don't usually have any idea what they want. And so when folks go into a dating sphere, and they get into some target-rich environment, as it were, where there's a bunch of folks that you could potentially date, what they say that they want is not often what they actually end up picking. So, since we really don't know exactly what we want, and we are willing to compromise what we actually want for the sake of having a relationship with somebody who has the vast majority of what we want, it makes no sense to me why you would put up like a list of demands about what you want. My online dating profile just talks about me, because that's the whole purpose. If you want to find somebody, and tell them about yourself, don't tell them about themselves. They already know about them. I just talk about me. And who I am, and if they like who I am, then they can pursue a deeper relationship if we both so choose. Now this is a tourist car. Total tourist car. What are you doing back here, pal? See if it'll let me by eventually. Boom. Just like that. What other funny stuff have I seen on online datings? So the online dating thing actually matched me. So I'm a man, straight man, looking for women because that's what I like. And it's so interesting because there are quite a few men, obviously men, who call themselves women and say in their profile that they're gay, and they're just kind of like, you know, they're looking for a straight man. You know, they're gay, and they're submissive, and they like to catch instead of pitch. And hey, again, I ain't judging. But at the same time, I'm looking for women, so I don't actually, like, your profile is irrelevant to me. I'm super happy that you kind of want to be a woman in the relationship. That's great. Don't you think that a dating website that actually gives you the opportunity to look for the same sex, wouldn't that be a better option than saying I'm heterosexual, but I'm going to say that I'm a woman so that I can find straight men? It's fairly strange. Look at this. What are these people? Looks like they're out hunting. So they're going to get the dogs out and go hunting. So yeah, it's been an interesting world. And I'm just doing it for fun. I mean, what else am I doing? My ordinary dating strategy is just to go where women are and start conversations and have fun and meet cool people. But seeing as how I can't do that because nothing's open, might as well do it on the internet. Now, this corner is kind of dangerous. It's easy to catch some air on this one. Whoop, up we go. Catching air on this corner is bad because otherwise you go in that barbed wire fence. That would suck really a lot. You guys can see there's all manner of rocks and stuff on the road. Usually these things are getting kicked out of the way by all the tourists, but not so much. Here's another one. Oh, a little bit of air there. And all right. Of all of the residence roadblocks that I've ever seen, that particular, that kid is always in that exact same position, just kind of reading his phone, not seeming to particularly care. Of course, I'm also on a motorcycle, so I absolutely respect the locals who live in this little village, their desire to make sure that they keep tourists out of their town due to the pandemic. But I live here, and I'm just going to use the road. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to try and make any friends here. And so I see no reason why I should be barred from entry, because I'm just going to go right through. Whoa, yeah. The road gets pretty narrow here through this little village, even narrower than it was before, which is all good. If you were to come to Maui and you were to rent a car, this road is actually outlined in red on all the tourist maps. It's like, if you come break down out here, we ain't gonna come get you. Tow bills for people who break down in this area have a comma in them. We are out in the middle of nowhere. But in many ways, this is one of my favorite parts of the island. There's just not much happening. It's a bit isolated. Which reminds me so much of when I lived in Costa Rica. That's all the roads are like this. Oh, false neutral there. Nice, respect speed limits as I go through here. No reason to have the motor screaming. Bunch of folks down there having a party or whatever. Roadblock on the other side, and I'm through it. The first time I did this in a car, oh my gosh, had a little 3-door hatchback and actually brought it over around this road. If you meet somebody coming the other direction, you get to decide who gets to go backwards for a quarter mile, because there's not too many places to pass. And oh, and do not want to wipe out in that dirt. And what a beautiful view. So I said this stuff reminds me of Costa Rica. It very much does. The roads are about the same quality in a lot of places in rural Costa Rica as this is right here. I mean, they're paved, but not particularly smooth. Tons of fun on a bike. I had a dual sport down there that I very much enjoyed for many years. 2 wheels was the only way I got around. Now, speaking of travel, I'm really starting to consider where my next destination is. What's the next countries that I'm going to use? I have a brand new passport, and I got the extra thick one, so I have 54 pages to fill up in 10 years. It's 5.4 pages a year that I have to make sure that I'm visiting visiting places. That's pretty gravelly. And much as I would enjoy going to visit another country, I don't have much of a vision right now of exactly where that's going to be, or where I'm going to get started. Something's going to pop my passport's cherry with a new stamp. I'm just not sure what it's going to be. Something that is interesting, though, is you know, a lot of my mainland friends have invited me to come out and hang out with them, which is super cool. It's great to have so many offers of a place to stay out there on the mainland. I do have quite a few. And so that's pretty cool stuff. You know, if Maui's fairly slow in opening up, and I have the time to just take a month or so and go back to the mainland and enjoy myself, I certainly will. It really just depends on, you know, what's happening out here. You know, what direction my life is going. But for now, I'm really very much enjoying the adventure. Now I'm on the state highway again. This is where the road opens up a bit. You get kind of like higher speed sweepers. better visibility, except around this corner where you're kind of like putting your head into the weeds. Hoping that there's nobody coming. No gravel patch or big puddle or mud or anything crazy like that. So I guess we'll see. I'm kind of in a little bit of a state of limbo right now. But hey, aren't we all? Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed the scenery and the conversation. And I hope that insofar as you're able to, that you are getting out of the house and enjoying your free time if you have it. And for those of you who are still at work, I know that some of my friends are still at work. Flap! Oh, right in the face. Thank God for visors. For those of you who are still at work, I really hope that you're making the best of it, that you're keeping safe, that you're being awesome, and that you're keeping a really positive attitude through all this. And so I'm going to close with a quote that's been very meaningful to me in life, especially as we are transitioning from this being shut down state to hopefully being opened up again. And it's a brave new world, that's for sure. And the quote is that faith and fear both ask you to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. So faith and fear both ask you to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. And I hope that my friends are choosing faith that things will be better. I hope that my friends are choosing faith that life is going to go back to a new normal that's a lot better than the old one was, because you know, humanity certainly has its fair share of problems, of issues. And many of these... Ooh, oh boy, that's slippery. I'm on street tires. That type of like super dusty dry clay does not give me any traction. But anyways, I hope that that my friends are choosing faith over fear, because faith is just a positive belief that something good is going to happen, and fear is the belief that something bad is going to happen. And I am personally of the opinion that all things work together for my good. And that's why I get to enjoy... Oh yeah, I'm not going to get any traction on that either. That's why I'm going to enjoy each and every day. You know, work toward my goals, work toward my dreams. Create things that I think make the world a better place, a more awesome spot. And I hope you do too. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. And if you enjoyed this, please let me know. Please say, hey Paul, do more of this stuff where you motorcycle around and talk. And I certainly will. Alright? So have yourself a fantastic, fantastic rest of your day. Aloha from Maui. And I'll talk to you guys later.